Good evening, everybody. It is, what is it, 6:02 on Thursday, February 14th, 2019, and I'm calling this meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. Item 3.2 is report out of closed session. Ms. Couvrette.
So closed session was called to order at 4:05. Trustee Beatty was absent. 2.1A, in the matter of pending existing litigation, case number 201-809-0822, on a motion by O'Connor Radcliffe and a second by Zane, the board voted to approve the settlement. There were 4 ayes: Patel, O'Connor Radcliffe, Couvrette, and Zane, 0 nays, and 1 absent, Beatty. 2.1B, in the matter of pending existing litigation, case number 208-100-485, on a motion by O'Connor Radcliffe and a second by Patel, the board voted to approve the settlement. The ayes were Patel, O'Connor Radcliffe, Couvrette, Zane. There were 0 nays, and Beatty was absent. On 2.2A, in the matter of conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation case TC-18-12, legal counsel William Pate, on a motion by Michelle O'Connor Radcliffe and a second by TJ Zane, the board voted to approve the settlement agreement to resolve a tort claim and release the district from all claims and liability pertaining to the matter. The ayes were Patel, O'Connor Radcliffe, Couvrette, Zane, 0 nays, with Beatty absent. 2.2B, in the matter of conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation case TC-17-05, legal counsel Aaron Haynes, on a motion by T.J. Zane and a second by Michelle O'Connor Radcliffe, the board voted to approve a settlement agreement to resolve a tort claim and release the district from all claims and liability pertaining to the matter. The ayes were Patel, O'Connor Radcliffe, Couvrette, and Zane. No nays, with Beatty absent. 2.3, in the matter of ratification of stipulated agreements on the following cases, the board will take action in open session. Agenda item 8.1. This is case number 2018-2019-06. Case number 2018-2019.07, case number 2018-2019.08, and case number .2018-2019.09. 2.5, in the matter of public employee discipline, dismissal, release, reassignment, resignation of classified employee 2018-2019-1, on a motion by Zane and a second by O'Connor Radcliffe, the board voted to impose a 3-day suspension without pay for a classified employee. The ayes were Patel, O'Connor Radcliffe, Couvrette, Zane. There were no nays when Beatty was absent. There were no other reportable action was taken during closed session. Closed session adjourned at 5:52.
Thank you, Ms. Couvrette. And now taking a look at members in attendance, we have all members in attendance except for board member Kimberly Beatty. Did you skip 2.4?
Yeah.
Is there no reportable action?
No reportable action. Oh, I thought you could put all at the end for no reportable action.
All other items, no reportable action. Thank you. And now for item 3.4, welcome to the public. Board Member Schwartz.
Welcome to the monthly meeting of the Board of Education. If you would like to address the board on any agenda item, please complete a speaker's slip. All requests to speak must be submitted to the clerk of the board before the agenda item comes up. If you're requesting an agenda item be pulled for public discussion from Section 5.0 Consent Calendar, a speaker slip must be submitted to the clerk now, as approval of the consent calendar is one of the first items up for approval. Item 4.2 is placed on our agenda to enable members of our community to bring items that are not placed anywhere else on the agenda to the board's attention. Speaking time is limited to 3 minutes per speaker with a maximum of 15 minutes per topic, unless waived by the board president. There will be a 30-second yellow warning light when the time is running out. Speakers may only speak on one topic under item 4.2 and may not defer their speaking time to another individual. If there are concerns regarding specific individuals, it is preferred that the speaker refrain from naming them publicly to respect their privacy. The board will accept and review any written materials that will provide more specific information. The Brown Act does not permit board action or extended discussion of any item not on the agenda, but your concerns will be referred to staff. With that said, welcome and thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. And now we'll move on to agenda item 3.5, approval of agenda sequence. I believe staff wanted to pull item 8.3. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we're pulling item 8.3. Do I have a motion for approval of the agenda sequence? Or we're pulling now?
Yeah, you have to.
Do you have any items to pull? Any items to pull, Ms. Kubrat? So I don't have an item to pull, but I do want to highlight item 5.3A, which is an item that's reflecting the ongoing work for training for the remaining teachers in the area of dyslexia. So I want to commend the district for keeping up with that work and training all the staff. So with only pulling item 8.3, do I have a motion to approve the agenda sequence?
Motion to approve.
Second.
With a motion by Zane and a second by O'Connor-Ratcliffe. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Oh, it was reversed. Motion by O'Connor-Ratcliffe and second by Zane. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So now we'll move on to oral presentations. We'll start with student board representatives. Do we have Alex Cito from Abraxas High School? I don't see him here. From Del Norte High School, Delaney Anderson and Alexis Long. Welcome.
Good evening, board members and audience. If we have not yet met, my name is Delaney Anderson and I serve as the ASU president at Del Norte. I'm excited to announce and hand over the torch to Alexis Long, who will be serving next trimester. It has been such an amazing opportunity to present to you over the course of last year, and I can't believe it's already coming to an end. Without further ado, I would like to touch on the ways that Del Norte continually is future-focused, globally aware, and college-ready. Future-focused. One of our goals as a campus is to continually focus on a change mindset. We want to make sure the development and overall high school experience is a positive one for every student. One way we are doing that currently is a district-wide thought exchange. We are excited to hear the voices of roughly 400 students from Del Norte that have participated. Additionally, Del Norte is soon to host another What I Wish My Parents Knew night on our campus to keep those tough conversations going. In terms of underclassmen, Mr. Schultz is continuing to lead a freshman forum where they meet to discuss highlights of being a freshman like new events and clubs and some of the more challenging transition like the academic load. Globally aware. Our campus is currently celebrating Black History Month with daily quotes to inspire us into unity. Similarly, ASB is holding a Cultural Awareness Week and No Place for Hate Week when we get back from the break to promote understanding and encourage inclusivity. That same week, we'll be holding a $1 for Life fundraiser to support a project overseas. In addition, we are extremely excited to welcome our Japanese students this spring to our campus and show them how awesome it is to be a Nighthawk. College ready. We are winding down trimester 2 and getting ready for another round of finals. Alongside that, all of our winter sports are finishing out and the spring sports are training for tryouts. We're extremely proud of our girls and boys basketball and boys soccer for advancing into CIF playoffs. Hundreds of fans made up of roughly 300 students and many members of our community came out last Tuesday night to support our varsity basketball program in the Battle of the Fans game, which we are extremely excited to be an active participant in for the first time this year. On another note, our campus hosted a speech and debate tournament a couple of weeks ago, and we are proud of all they have accomplished as a competitive club. Our performing arts put on a fantastic musical over the course of the last 2 weeks titled My Fair Lady, and many Nighthawks participated in multiple aspects of the show to make sure it was an unforgettable production. As I conclude, I would like to thank the board once again for giving me this opportunity to present updates about Nighthawks, and it's great to be distinctively Del Norte. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't see Tyler Vandenberg from Mount Carmel High School here either. So as you know, you are free to go if you want to go home. You don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. And we will move on to public comments.
Before we move on to public comments, Madam President, there's a couple of changes that need to be done to the agenda that we neglected to say on 3.5. And to make to the public and the board's attention, 6.4, 6.5, and 6.6 are noted as action items on the agenda, and they should be information only. So 6.4, 6.5, and item 6.6 should be information only. They're noted so correctly on the green sheets, however, on the agenda, they're noted as action. So if the board can go ahead and approve those changes.
Do you have a motion to approve those changes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
On a motion by Mr. Zane, a second by O'Connor Ratcliffe. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. So now we'll move on to public comment. Ms. Couvret?
If I could have Frida Brunzel, sorry about that.
Hi, I'm Frida Brunzel, and I represented Polymer Council PTA at the recent Safety Committee. I enjoyed being part of this very well-organized committee led by Greg Meitzel. We had many interesting discussions that led to a number of recommendations to improve safety at all our schools. We hope that the district will implement these recommendations as well as those from Guidepost. Consistent procedures all over the district schools is a key to achieve a safe learning environment for all our kids. The PTA is your partner in this work, and we want to thank the board and the district for your work on safety. Thank you.
Janet Latang.
Good evening, Superintendent Kim Phillips, Superintendent's Council, and trustees. I'm happy to once again let you know about some fantastic POSD performing arts happenings. This weekend, POSD has 19 high school students and 7 middle school students representing our district at the All-State Band and Orchestra Festival in Fresno, California. On the weekend of March 14th, 13 PUSD high school students will be participating in the California All-State Honor Choir Ensembles Weekend in San Jose. The name of these students are listed at the end of tonight's agenda, item 12.2A, under Superintendent Student Recognition. Thank you for recognizing them. All of these students worked hard to become one of the top high school and middle school musicians in California. To prepare for their audition, each student needed to perfect their audition piece and perform for professional musicians who selected the best of the best to form the All-State Ensembles. This audition process for the California Honor Ensembles is an excellent way for our PUSD performing arts students to experience what it is like to audition for colleges and eventually to audition for professional performance groups. This is a hard process, putting yourself and your talent out there to see if you are good enough. These honor auditions play an important role for our musicians' preparation for college and career readiness. My congratulations to the 39 students who were selected for an all-state ensemble and to their PUSD music teachers. I would also like to recognize our PUSD students who auditioned for an all-Southern and/or all-state honor ensemble and were not selected. You all took a chance and are better musicians because you prepared for and performed for your auditions. When their students are ready to try for the next level, I hope all our PUSD high school music teachers will inspire their students to audition for an honor ensemble. I know that my children all learned a great deal from their honor ensemble auditions, even when they were not selected. Every audition helped them prepare for their later auditions, including their college and post-college ensemble auditions. Okay, moving on. Locally, a great opportunity to hear our PUSD middle school musicians perform is to attend the Poway Unified School District Orchestra Festival Sunday, March 3rd from 4:30 to 9 at the Poway Performing Arts Center. All top middle school orchestras will be performing, and the Rancho Bernardo High School Symphony will be closing the festival. And it's free. Donations accepted. I know all these PUSD musicians will appreciate your support. Finally, coming up in the next month, Westview Theater is performing Addams Family on the weekends of March 8th and March 14th. And set your calendars for the end of the month of March. We've got Peter Pan coming up at RB High School. And I'm flipping papers here and running out of time. Okay. Let's see. RB High School is March 20th, starting that weekend, and Wizard of Oz at Mount Carmel, March 28th and April 4th, 5th, and 6th. Okay, I know all these PUSD performers appreciate your support by attending their performances. Thank you very much.
Alex Goldtrain.
Good evening. So I'm Dr. Michael Orozco. I'm a physician here in San Diego. I have a couple boys that will soon be at Del Norte High School. And these kids are very much into the sport of soccer, which kind of drew me to the game. For the last 10 years, I've been very involved in the community. I founded a local nonprofit that's a youth leadership program, and we use soccer to connect with kids. And our work brought me in connection with a group that has come from France. They're called the Mind Soccer Foundation. It's a group of current soccer professional players, one of them being a gentleman named Eden Hazard, who is well known to be a top 5 player in the world right now, plays for Chelsea. And this is a very big group, a group of experts. One of the group members is sitting next to me today. This is Alex Gontran. He is one of the owners of this group. This group is aiming to bring a professional soccer team, the very first to San Diego. And along with that, part and parcel, if you were to do this project right, you create a youth academy right under it to feed the program. So that is the European way. That is the best practice way in terms of serving kids in the sport well. So my goal is, as I got to know these guys over the last couple of years, because we were aligned in our desire to serve kids, is to direct their funds towards Del Norte High School specifically. They are here and they're committed. They're well capitalized, and I'm just excited about that project. What I do know is this, is Del Norte has challenges, as you're well aware, 700 plus incoming freshmen next year. They have 7 spaces. They have 7 spaces needed for PE classes each period. There's only 5 places that these 7 classes can fit currently on the campus. Right now there's 3 fields down below the pool. You'll see on the map here in the first graphic to the right of the stadium. And 2 of those fields have been dormant for 5 to 7 years and unused. So there's a huge need for space, and everyone will agree. These fields are not used currently because they're unusable. Frankly, they're unsafe for kids to play on. So there's a great need here. So this is about a donation to create 3 joint use professional grade fields with professional grade lighting right next to the stadium, right there in those grass fields. This would be Bermuda grass, a kind of grass that could self-repair. I'll move fast. I have 36 seconds. So secondly, this is not a project that is like any other club soccer project that we might know of. This would be the first professional youth academy in San Diego. This would be on par to an LA Galaxy in Los Angeles, a kind of academy that has completely changed the game. In terms of serving kids well, the focus is laser sharp. It's about sending sending a San Diego kid to the top flight in Europe. Lastly, it's for everybody, ages 3 to 17. They have a comprehensive program that will serve girls and boys down to age of 3. So too exciting an opportunity not to take advantage of. I look forward to presenting later on this month. Hopefully, we're working on an MOU currently, and I'd love to present again for your consideration at a later date. Hopefully, I've expressed some of the excitement here. If you're a soccer fan at all, the word Eden Hazard might have had you. So that's it. Thank you. Thanks.
Ryan Love.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Lowe. I am campus security at Black Mountain Middle School, where the principal is Scott Corso. This is my first year there, and as you might know, in the middle schools, we just started campus security there. We also know that we just added new cameras or additional cameras from Bosch Video Management System. When I first started there, I basically had the week training and then had access to the video, and we did a lot of good work catching mischievous little kids doing what they do. And then couple things that started occurring is we needed to send each other these video clips, so we didn't have a secure way of doing it, so I got with our help desk and suggested secure drive with limited access. They granted it. I was on it. Then shortly thereafter, I was off of it. And I don't know why. And then just recently, I just heard that now I have the computer software on my desk computer where I work, but I cannot log into it. I have to have an administrator to log onto my computer so I can watch video to help them do their jobs while they're doing their responsibilities. I would like to know why, please. I would like to have back full access, more training, more options that the software does have available to it, because we're, I guess, at the infancy of this access to the software. I would really like to know what's going on, and if I could be of assistance, just talking to the text, they say I ask a lot of questions. I bring up a lot of scenarios that help them do their jobs, and I'm still waiting on some responses because I've stumped them a couple times. So with that, again, I'm Ryan Lowe from Black Mountain Campus Security. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move on to item 4.3, which is Facilities Condition Assessment Report. Mr. Little.
Yes, thank you, President Patel. This evening, staff is pleased to share with the board and community the results of a year-long facilities condition study. Every system of nearly every building at every school and support site within the district has been evaluated and is reflected in the numbers that you are about to see. This comprehensive assessment will be critical to our facilities master planning work to come, as well as to our annual deferred maintenance planning. At this point, I'd like to thank Director Coster and his team for their diligence in partnering with Amoresco, who's here this evening, to get this work done. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Coster to present and make some introductions.
All right, thank you. Board of Trustees, Dr. Phelps and Cabinet. Very excited to be here today and report out on a year-long effort as we're going. And I'll be brief. I'll turn it over here to Tim Detliff from Amoresco and let him kind of get into an executive summary of where we're at with this assessment. Tim.
Good evening, members of the board, superintendent and cabinet members. I'm going to quickly walk you through and share some of the findings of our facilities assessment with you so you can see where that's at visually. We have a number of key deliverables here, but one of the things that we tried to answer in this whole assessment is, will the facilities hinder the ability to teach and learn? So we want to make sure we understand that, and that's one of the key things that we're trying to answer here going forward. So part of this, to get into some detail, is really looking at the life cycles of all the building systems and all the facilities. Everything will age over time. And what we wanted to do was make sure we capture that for every building element, for every building, and for each site going forward. We wanted to make sure we also had a 5-year and a 30-year plan as part of this evaluation. And ultimately, we wanted to measure the risk of a piece of equipment failing, and will that eventually hinder the quality of teaching and learning? And that's really what we're trying to answer. But we also brought in a mechanism for assessing the sustainability of the portfolio for the long term, and trying to answer the question, well, what kind of funding appropriation do we need to maintain the pristine quality that we have here today? So our approach was pretty simple. There's a lot of data, in people's heads, a lot of data in different data systems. What we wanted to do was make sure we consolidate that and ultimately develop what we call facility life cycle models. And what that is really simply is every building system, every building is rolled up into a data set inside a tool called Asset Planner, which now staff have access to. And it basically models out the life cycle needs today, tomorrow, over the next 5, 10, 30 years. And it gives us a picture financially of how much money do I need to support this particular school, recognizing that different systems age over time. So to build that model, make that model a little stronger, we wanted to make sure we did some on-site condition assessments, worked with staff, collected any data that existed there. At the end of the day, we came up with a very, very detailed analysis and a massive database, quite frankly, that has all the data for each and every facility and every single component listed in this dashboard. So I'm going to go through a little bit of that. The other thing that's important to note is, and I think you know this anyways, but we created this age profile that says on the far left-hand side, this particular site has a 56-year age profile. On the far right-hand side, you have some that are newer, of course, 4 years old, but the average across the portfolio is 29 years of age. And that represents 4.15 million square feet and about a little over $1.3 billion worth of construction value. There's a plethora of reports that can be drawn from this thing, and we're going to focus on just a few of these, but this is one of the executive dashboards that exist that allows staff to take a look at any school, any building system within that school, and at the end of the day, you can look at the financial metrics that suggest how much money do I need today, tomorrow, and over the next number of years to actually drive this thing forward. Then also look at the cumulative effect of that. How much money will I need, cumulatively speaking, over the next 30 years? But more importantly, what's the risk associated with that need going forward? When will that school become a problem, perhaps? And I'm not going to say any facilities are a problem, but is there enough money available to support this aging infrastructure? And that's what this analysis will now show. We can also drill down into an individual school and look at the numbers and associated with that particular school. So all these little pins on the map basically show the condition profiling and rating and ranking system. Green is good, yellow is fair, orange is poor, and red is critical. Thankfully, there's no critical in there today. But if we didn't fund this over time, those pins would change color and they would end up being critical. So that kind of information is sitting there today, and you can see if I put more money into this particular site, what will that do to my portfolio, and what will that do for each site going forward? So there's a lot of detail, a lot of data in here. So let me just look district-wide. So this is a district-wide picture. This is what we call the capital needs by discipline. So how many dollars do I need each and every year going forward? So in 2019, we're sitting with about $94.7 million worth of need. And that didn't happen overnight. That's accumulation of deferral over many years. But you've also done a lot of investment going forward as well. But then from 2020 on, all these other building systems, and these different colors just mean different building systems, just so you know. There's a legend there. But the idea is that you have all these other needs compiling over the next 30 years going forward, and that's natural. That's what you'd expect. The other thing we looked at is, well, what happens to the funding? How much funding is available for deferred maintenance and dealing with this? And quite frankly, right now we're showing an average of about $1 million per year. So if you have a deferred backlog right now in the current year of 94.7, well, you're going to take care of 1 million of that, and 93.7 million defers to the second year, and on it goes. So what we do is we actually show that in this other graphic called a total liability picture. So on the far left-hand side sits $94.7 million, and cumulatively we add that up. We don't put any inflation or escalation in here for good reason. But by the time you hit the 30th year, in today's dollars, it's an $811 million requirement. Very normal. We see this all the time. That's the reality. We call that the total liability that's there. So that's a good way to look at the entire portfolio. So this is by district. Realize, though, you have this for every single facility. You also have this for every single site. So there's separate analyses that exist inside the database. Then we overlaid the accumulation of $1 million per year. Doesn't look like a whole lot on the graphic in green. So it's 1 million plus one each and every year, and over 30 years it represents $30 million on the far right-hand side of the graph. We call that, underneath the curve, we call that the unfunded liability, and that's really the risk associated with the aging infrastructure associated with the entire district. So again, each facility has its own profile. So this is at the district level. And then one of the things we wanted to look at was, when am I at risk? So we looked at, what does the industry talk about risk? What's a good risk equation for you? And we came up with this asset sustainability target, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. But you have to establish a benchmark that says, look, we have pristine facilities. We want to maintain this level of pristineness, if there's such a word. I don't think there is. Made it up. So you want to maintain this level, and the only way to do that is to actually set a target. And what it means is that you can defer a certain amount, but everything above that dotted red line, you're going to have to fill with funding. And that's really what this graphic's going to show you. And I'll get into a little bit more detail on that in just a second. So the industry has a term called Facility Condition Index, and it's an industry standard. And what it does, it measures the risk rating of each and every facility. And not to get into a lot of detail here, but very quickly, if your facility, if 95% of the value of your facility is really well funded, and there's nothing left other than 5% of the value of it is unfunded, well, that puts you in the good range. So meaning that 95% is running well, 5% is not. You still have a great school if only 5% of its replacement value is unfunded. Fair range is 5 to 10%, poor range 10 to 30, and so on. The industry tends to mirror itself and say, you know, if we're at the 10% range, we're okay. I think that's kind of a lackadaisical target, to be quite honest. Within your district, you've decided that 8% is the right target for you, and I'll show you why in a second. So FCI is really how much money do I need to fix my school divided by its replacement value, in this case the whole district. So we've got $94 million today for as need today, divided by its replacement value of $1.3 billion. That gets you a ratio, and I'll show you what that is in a second. That's a sneak preview. It's 7.1%. We happen to know that. So this graphic is really important. What this shows is that there's risk bands across the bottom, and green is good range, yellow is fair range, orange is poor range, and red is critical range. And what we wanted to do was measure what the unfunded liability looks like growing over time. So if I continue to invest $1 million per year, where am I going to end up district-wide? Now, each building has its own picture, same sort of picture, but district-wide, where is that going to end up? And that's what the blue line shows, is the accumulation of $1 million per year. So the more funding you put in, the lower that curve will get, and ultimately you want to get it down to that yellow range. So today, the good news is the sky isn't falling, but you're at 7.1%. Now, you've done a lot of investment in your portfolio, and what's happening is that the CFD facilities you have invested in, they're actually at 3.7%, which you'd expect. So they're in great shape. No surprise. But the non-CFD ones, the ones you have not invested in, they're sitting at 9.5%, which is actually in the poor, just about at the crest of the poor range. That's concerning. So I think you want to pay attention to that. So again, that's all part of that $94 million slice that's sitting there today. But on average, you're sitting at 7.1%. And if you want to maintain that over time and make sure that you're not eroding it beyond that, we're going to tell you what the funding appropriation levels are. What's happening, though, is even at $1.1 million per year, by the third year, you will be hitting the poor range, and that's concerning. So you want to start thinking about acting today so that you don't run into a problem for the future. And then if you just continued at $1 million per year at infinitum, by 2033, you'd actually be in the critical state. And what I can tell you is that within 3 years to 2033, the quality of the quality of teaching and learning will actually become more and more challenged as time goes on. And the facilities will, in fact, hinder your ability to teach and learn. So that's one thing we wanted to create serious visibility on. So the one thing, big question is, drum roll, is how much money do we actually need in order to maintain ourselves at an 8% FCI, which is the target that's set for you, and you need $23.5 million every single year for every year, and over 30 years, that's about $700 million. Now, that's a big number to swallow, but that's the reality if you want to maintain it. And the question you should ask is, well, how accurate is this? Well, I will tell you that the accumulation of these numbers is 100% accurate. It will not be wrong. And I'm not saying that because I'm working for Amoresco. I'm saying that because the model and the methodology built into this suggests that maybe we're off on a year when something's going to come due, but from an accumulation perspective, it will be exactly correct. So that's very important to know. So you do need $23.5 million every single year if you want to maintain your portfolio at the current level. Last slide, we wanted to just show what the FCI forecast is, and this is a busy-looking slide, but it's important because the first column in colors, 2019, it shows there's a bunch of greens and yellows and oranges. What I would want to focus in on is there's a whole bunch of orange facilities in there, meaning that they're in the poor range today. They need attention today. 5 years from now, you can see it's migrating. The next column is moving more and more orange, and then the next 5 years, orange and red start to appear, which means I now have critical facilities. And my question would always be, will these facilities now hinder the ability to teach and learn? So on that, hopefully I got it done quick enough. I'm sorry to go through so quickly, but are there any questions?
Are there any questions from the board? I'll start with the end. Jake?
Not necessarily a question, but just wanted to point out that I'm not an expert at money, obviously, but high schoolers do notice when their facilities are falling apart or their facilities are struggling. And it does actually affect learning, and I've experienced that myself. If you have to go to a bathroom that's across campus and you're missing the lecture, then it's not very helpful whatsoever. So I think it is something very important to be looking at and to be taken seriously. That's all I have to say.
Any other questions?
Yes. Thank you for the presentation. And one request is that we post this on our website so that our community members can have access to it. So to your point that it's 100% accurate, the variables are exactly what the repairs are and if they're as originally assessed, and then what the repair costs are going forward. So to that end, I realize there are dozens of schools that you evaluated, but can you address somewhat, perhaps in the aggregate, some of the repairs that you're referring to?
Yeah, I mean, you have repairs for, sorry, did you want to answer that? You have repairs that deal with parking lots. You have repairs that deal with interior finishes. You have repairs that deal with mechanical systems, usually the stuff that's behind the scenes, behind the walls you don't usually see. And a lot of those things are cropping up today that normally wouldn't be addressed. So a lot of the public-facing stuff behind the walls is certainly coming due as well. And that's what's shown in some of the graphics here. So each and every school, each and every facility on each site has a detailed breakdown of 100-odd building elements that are costed out in great detail, and using RS means as a guide, but and that's a credible guide. So at least we know we're normalizing our costs the way they need to be.
All right, using what as a guide?
Yeah, there's a costing standard out there called RS means, and that's an industry standard that's used across the board. And the reason we want to use that is because for having exactly this kind of a conversation, are these numbers credible? And that's really what it's designed to address.
If I could add just a little bit to that. So the budget piece that comes in this is really the capital investment that goes back in, right? So it's not the day-to-day maintenance and operations costs or the ongoing repairs. It's, hey, that HVAC system that you install in that building has got a 20-year lifespan, and it's, at year 20, you may get 21, 22, 23, you may be able to extend it, but you know that within that 30-year range, you've got to replace that system. And so it really looks at that level of detail per building, per system, HVAC, roofing, building envelope, kind of the entire structure. It's really detailed. There's a ton of data that's behind each one of these, this kind of accumulation. But that's the capital investment. It's not the ongoing maintenance and repair ops. So it's kind of that you've got to be able to use this. We know, hey, we've got these needs. Are we probably going to be able to spend $20 million every year? That's probably not likely, right? But how do you strategically invest at times to be able to do this? And where do we now make risk decisions where, hey, we can get some more life out of something if we maintain it and do the right M&O operations and do the right preventive maintenance on the front end and try to extend life cycles. But we know that you're going to have to invest in these systems in the long term. So,
thank you.
Any other questions?
Not a question. I just want to clarify. So if we said, okay, we see that this particular school, Highland Ranch, is moving into oranges right now, you have a list that will tell you right now what are the things that are orange that you have to fix?
Correct. Within that system, we can come in and we can say what systems are aging out. Now, we would want to do a much deeper dive as we're developing a project to get the nitty-gritties on those systems and make sure we're really investing at the right time in the right systems. But from from a macro standpoint, yes, we can say, hey, the electrical system is this old in this space, and we would expect a life cycle that we need to reinvest in that in 2 years.
So for
and 5
board
years.
understanding and for public understanding,
Correct.
though, when we say, look, we need $24 million this year, you could actually go in and give us a high-ish level overview of the specifics, though, of what.
No, correct. So in that 90 million plus backlog that we have right now, as you go into that database, you can click on it and you can click on by system, drills down by site, what is driving that number. Correct.
I have a question. How do other districts pay for this? Because I'm assuming this is not just PUSD's issue. All districts go through this. So how do other districts do this?
So other districts have typically how they support facilities. If you recall, before LCFF, state used to provide deferred maintenance monies to all school districts. Ever since LCFF, they no longer provide any money for facilities. So we've had to budget about $1 million just to maintain, as they mentioned in the PowerPoint. But as they also mentioned, that just in a couple of years, the majority of our schools will be in poor condition. So they're aging out, they'll fall apart, the HVAC systems, the air conditioning systems, the carpets, the roofings, the structural, the lighting, everything. And so how other districts have been able to maintain their facilities is they do go out for a general obligation bond. And so if you notice that all of our surrounding districts have gone out for general obligation bond, that's the only way to maintain our facilities.
Thank you. I believe that covers our questions. Thank you for your presentation.
All right. Thank you.
That brings us to the consent calendar. Items under consent agenda are considered routine and will be adopted in a single motion. There's no separate discussion of these items. However, any item may be pulled. The superintendent and staff recommend approval of all consent calendar items. Do you have a motion to approve the consent calendar? Any items to pull? Let's start with that.
It does. I have an item I'd like to make some comments on. If it's okay to pull it, or okay.
Make a comment.
For approval of consent, because I don't need to really pull it separately.
That's fine.
So I just wanted to comment briefly on item 5.5A, the comprehensive school site safety plans, and just really give a shout out to all of the schools in the district. I think that the whole board can attest to the quality of the reports, particularly as compared to previous years. I think it's readily apparent in my mind that the district as a whole has taken a whole different view and approach to campus safety, and that was clearly evident in the school site safety plans this year. For my own purposes in going through all of these, and I did joke with a few folks that it only took 4.5 hours to get through all 39 plans. I was tracking some of the information from some of the schools, and I feel that it's worthwhile just to give my own kind of highlights of a few plans that I thought were exceptional. And I'm not going to score every school. I know, although I might have some principals and folks coming to me afterwards, well, how did you think we did? First of all, everybody did a great job, but there were a few schools that were above and beyond, in my opinion, and I just want to point out, and I had my own grading system and everything. There were schools that rated as good, very good, excellent, and fantastic, and I just want to mention that the schools that were excellent were Creekside Elementary, Highland Ranch Elementary, Mount Carmel High School, and Rancho Bernardo High School. Again, this is just my opinion. 3 schools were fantastic, I thought, in their presentation of their plan, those being Del Sur Elementary School. Very detailed, a nice incorporation of the guidepost solution recommendations into their goals. Oak Valley Middle School, fantastic. Of all the plans, the most brutally honest. They set clear, aggressive, yet reasonable goals. So high marks to Oak Valley. and fantastic to Willow Grove Elementary School as well. Substantial backup provided gave valuable context to the overall report. And so, as many of you know, this has become an area near and dear to my heart, and so I really took it seriously and delved into these reports this year. Nice job all around. So with that, I have no other items to comment on in consent agenda.
Ms. Beatty, any items to pull? Yvette, any items to pull?
I just want to add on to TJ, since I was going to hit it at Bernie Barks later. I wanted to point out that Del Sur, Morning Creek, and Chaparral really hit on digital and technology social kindness, which I thought was really exceptional. And those three really, like I said, put an emphasis on that, which I really appreciated.
Wait, there was more, actually. I forgot to mention. I also loved the Highland Ranch Elementary School's vision statement, the vision statement by Mesa Verde Middle School, and the vision statement at Rolling Hills Elementary School. So those were additional little comments I had to give on those reports.
Thank you.
I have nothing to pull, but while we're talking about these, they were much better this year than last year. I know we had a lot of concerns last year. I would note, just for us sitting up here, that there were things identified in last year's plans that appear almost word for word in this year's plan, and those are those safety issues they named that they hope to get addressed, and how they're going to address them says district facilities. So that was on us that we didn't get those fixed, and I understand now we had a real reality check on the budget needs to do all of that, but boy, I would love to see the things that are specifically called out by each school not appear there again in next year's plans. And yes, I have a running document on this, so yeah. I'm going to know.
Similarly,
so that'd be great.
On the facilities, I did note on specific schools that similarly, door locks in some schools, perimeter fencing in others.
And they're mentioned last year and this year,
exactly.
And boy, I would have loved to get those fixed in a full year, but yeah, something that we can shoot for.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
On a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. What was it? 6-0? Did we get Jake's vote? Oh, he's not voting on this one. Motion carries 5-0. And that brings us to item 6.0, Personnel Support Services. Item 6.1, Approval of Resolution Number 41-2019, entitled Resolution Regarding the Elimination of Classified Positions as contained within Exhibit A, Corresponding Layoff of Classified Employees. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you, Board President Patel. 6.1, this resolution proposes the elimination of one vacant Administrative Assistant 2 position in our Business Services Department. Based on a review of the duties and responsibilities needed in this position, it was recommended by management staff that the position be classified as a confidential position. Therefore, the resolution for the elimination of the vacant Administrative 2 Assistant position is recommended to the Board for approval. There was no incumbent affected by this elimination since it was vacant due to retirement.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Can I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
On a motion by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe, a second by Mr. Zane. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 6.2, Approval of Salary Reallocation for Lead Payroll Technician. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you, President Patel. In response to recruitment and retention issues in the payroll series, the Personnel Commission has reviewed the Senior Payroll Technician classification. Included in that was a change to the title as a Lead Payroll Technician and a salary reallocation that was scheduled for approval and approved by the Personnel Commission and recommended on February 11, 2019. The recommendation is for an allocation change from range 36 currently to a range 38 on the Office Technical, Business Services, and Professional salary schedule. The salary recommendation was based on external and internal comparisons, utilizing data from comparable school districts in the area, and a copy of the new class description is included for your information.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Jimenez? Can I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
On a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe. Are there any questions or any discussion? Can I have the vote? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item is item 6.3, approval of salary reallocation for payroll technician.
Thank you. Included in the same classification review of the payroll series is a review of the payroll technician classification. Similarly, and based on response to recruitment and retention issues, it was recommended by the Associate Superintendent of Business Support Services to the review this series. The recommendation that was recommended by our Personnel Commission on February 11th is a reallocation currently from range 33 to range 35 of the Office Technical Business Services and Paraprofessional salary schedule. The salary recommendation was also based on external and internal comparisons, utilizing data from comparable and local school districts in the area. A copy of the class description is also enclosed for your review.
Thank you. Any questions?
Actually, I did have just one. How many payroll technicians do we have? Or do we wish we would have? How many positions are there?
We have 5 payroll technicians and 1 lead in that department. And I think
we have 5 and we wish we had 6? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We are fully staffed. So.
Thank you. Can I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
And a motion by Ms. Beatty, second by Mr. Zane. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. The next item is item 6.4, and I'll remind everyone that this is actually an information item. It was listed as an action item on our agenda, but it is listed as an information item on the green sheet. Initial proposal from the Board of Education to Poway School Employees Association, PSEA, Unit 1, 2019-2020. This is a first reading. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you, President Patel. Yes, this is a first reading for informational purposes only. For the initial proposal, Sunshine Proposal to open negotiations with PSEA, our Classified Bargaining Unit 1. Attached to the green sheet is the proposal from the district and the articles within the contract that the district wishes to open negotiations once approved. This is a 2-step process. Today is the first reading of the initial proposal for public review. At our upcoming board meeting in March, there will be an opportunity for public comment through a public hearing, and finally the board will be asked to adopt and approve the initial proposal for bargaining. We are scheduled tentatively right now to begin negotiations with PSEA towards the end of March, and we anticipate that PSEA Unit 1 will also present to us an initial proposal for bargaining.
Thank you. Are there any questions at this time? All right, we'll move on to item 6.5. Which is initial proposal from the Board of Education to Poway School Employees Association, PSEA Unit 2, 2019-2020, first reading. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you. As we know, PSEA represents 2 units. This is the initial proposal from the district to open negotiations for bargaining pertaining to articles in Unit 2's collective bargaining agreement. The same process will also apply here. Today is the first reading for public review. In March, at the March board meeting, the community will be given the opportunity for public comment through a public hearing, and the board at that time will be asked to approve and adopt the final initial proposal so that we can begin negotiations with PSEA Unit 2 in late March.
Thank you. Are there any questions at this time? All right, thank you very much. We will now move on to item 7.0, Business Support Services. Item 7, 6.6, sorry. I skipped ahead. 6.6, yes. This is the proposed 2019-2020 year-round student attendance calendar for Valley Elementary School. This is a first reading. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you, President Patel. As you know, Valley Elementary School follows a year-round calendar. This is a first reading of the proposed calendar for the 2019-2020 school year. It's been reviewed by staff at Valley Elementary following the same pattern as we have this current school year. It'll be presented to the board at our March meeting for final approval at that time.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Just a quick question. I just was trying to check earlier whether the professional growth days and the district holidays align with this calendar and the regular school calendar, or are they all slightly off?
there is some alignment so that we have, I believe, the fall professional growth day that is district-wide. They have that one the same as everyone.
But all of the holidays are aligned.
All the holidays are aligned.
Thank you.
If there are no further questions, then we'll move on to item 7.0 for real this time.
We have a speaker on this one.
And we do have a speaker on item 7.1. Would you like to call the speaker?
Yes, Janet Latang.
Good evening. And I just wanted to, I have a short comment. Thank you to Mr. Little, Ms. Greenlee, District Management, and PFT and PSCA representatives for your work to bring this resolution to the board this evening to adopt the use of an other post-employment benefit trust program. I appreciate your work to evaluate the three options and proposing the most advantageous trust provider for PUSD. And I'm interested in listening if there's any discussion. And I guess one of my one question would be, from what I'm reading, there's not a dollar amount set aside, and not enough that would be part of the discussion or further discussion in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Little?
Thank you, President Patel. The board will recall that staff introduced the idea of an irrevocable OPEB trust last fall. At that time, we talked about the benefits of an OPEB trust, greater returns on district investments and assets, funds delineated for the specific purpose of servicing district retirees and achieving GASB 75 compliance, thereby reducing the district's unfunded liability that's recorded on our books. After a presentation from one provider in October of 2018, board directed staff to explore options to establish an OPEB trust. An RFP was released in late October that resulted in 3 responses, as Ms. Latang referred to. An evaluation committee reviewed the responses and rated each based on the firm's qualifications, the OPEB trust structure they were proposing, investment options, and support services and fees. PARS was determined by the committee to best meet the current needs of the district. Advantages of PARS: they have the greatest long-term returns on investments across their more assertive and balanced portfolios, anywhere from 6 to 11% on average per year. Their fees are competitive with a hands-on approach, and I think the committee felt that they had the most effective trust management structure. Currently, the district enjoys a relationship with PARS as they have been successfully managing an alternative to our Social Security program for our part-time employees and been doing a good job doing that. So we're pleased to recommend that the board adopt the Public Agencies Post-Employment Benefit Trust, and the resolution, once adopted, will approve the creation and the establishment of the trust. At next month's board meeting, we will bring forward a recommendation with respect to investment strategies and balance transfers.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
I think that what you just said, Mr. Little, may have addressed Ms. Latang's question to some extent. Is that correct, Ms. Latang? Okay, great. Make a motion to approve.
On a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. Beatty. All those in favor? Aye. Jake, would you like to cast your preferential vote?
Yes. Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item 7.2, approval of resolution 43-2019 entitled Authorization to Purchase Digital School Suite Plus, a position control system as a sole source provider without soliciting competitive bids. Mr. Little.
Yes, thank you, President Patel. As you know, people costs comprise nearly 85% of the district's budget. Poway Unified employs approximately 5,500 teachers, counselors, classified staff, and administrators annually. Yet we track their positions associated with these people, our people, primarily through Excel spreadsheets due to the lack of capacity of our PeopleSoft ERP. And what we find is that sometimes our people are not aligned with our positions. Position control allows us to create, track, monitor, and budget for all board-approved positions. Digital Schools Suite Plus will work alongside PeopleSoft and provide the district with a comprehensive position and control budget system. Digital Schools Suite Plus integrates human resources, business office, and payroll data into a central, organized core repository, providing a toolkit for measuring and managing district human capital resources. All timesheet functions are internet-based and integrate with PeopleSoft, reducing the current manual paper processing of timesheets. Other important features include electronic timesheet with authorization workflow, position workflow, again done electronically, ACA management, employee portal so that employees can get real live data based on their leaves, real-time leave accounting, and so forth. With us this evening is our payroll director, Laura Vaca, and Mr. Mark Bedford, Senior Product Director of Digital Schools, to answer any specific questions you may have. But by approving the attached resolution, the board authorizes staff to enter into a 3.25-year contract and begin the implementation of digital schools through a sole source procurement methodology as delineated in both the green sheet and the resolution.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions?
Separate and apart from who I might call if I run into Excel issues myself, I appreciate the background that you provided to justify the no bid, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Second. On a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. Beatty. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
And now we go to item 7.3.
Yes, this evening we bring back the SDG&E's request for an easement along Midland Road. This evening we need to conduct a public hearing and then finally take action on this item that we've seen at least twice before.
Thank you. At this time, I will open the public hearing. It is 7:04, sorry. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, I will close this public hearing at 7:04 still, and we'll move on to the agenda item, 7.3. Go back.
Motion to
Oh,
approve.
do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
On a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe. All those in favor? Aye. Preferential vote? Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Move on to item 7.4, which is approval of resolution number 35, 2019, entitled Ordering Judicial Foreclosure Pursuant to the Melrose Community Facilities Act of 1982 of certain properties for which the payment of special taxes are delinquent, approving and ratifying certain actions of special counsel, and ordering that the tax collectors be credited with those special taxes. Mr. Little.
Yes, thank you, President Patel. As you know, the Board of Education has the statutory authority and responsibility to levy and collect special taxes related to the district's community facilities districts. Of the 21,723 Melrose parcels taxed in 2017-2018, 138 were identified as being delinquent, with an overall delinquency rate of 0.48%, which is exceptional. Of these 138, 4 district property owners are delinquent in excess of the permissible thresholds. The district is required under the conditions of the bond covenants to initiate foreclosure proceedings against these property owners. As part of our due diligence, we verified with the County of San Diego Treasurer that no payments were received from these 4 property owners in November of 2018, nor in January of 2019. These property owners were notified of the delinquency at the end of November 2018 by the district's special tax administrators and asked to remit payment. They were sent a final delinquency notice 2 months later on January 23, 2019 by District Council with judicial foreclosure requirements and payment due to the district by February 11, 2019. This month, by February 11th, we had received payment from one property owner, the CFD number 14 and 14A on your list, and we extended more time to another property owner due to some mailing issues. We also note that one property owner in CFD 6 has this current status with the county tax collector as power to sell. So proceedings have or may be initiated soon by the county on that property. To date, the district has never had to litigate foreclosure procedures on any property owner within any CFD. We remain optimistic that we continue this track record by working with the cited district residents. Nevertheless, by approving the attached resolution, the board provides staff with the authority to undertake such action if necessary. With us this evening is Nora O'Brien, associate at BB&K Legal Firm, to assist in answering any questions the board may have.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Are there any questions from the board? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second? On a motion by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe, second by Ms. Beatty. All those in favor? Aye. Mr. Schwartz, you can cast a preferential vote if you would like. Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Now we move on to item 8.0, Learning Support Services. First item is 8.1, Ratification of Stipulated Agreements for Student Expulsions. Ms. Osborne.
Thank you, Madam President. Tonight we bring forward 4 stipulated agreements for board approval.
Do I hear a motion? Call them individually, right? Case number 2018-2019.06. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Case number 2018-2019.07. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Case number 2018-2019.08. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
On a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Case number 2018-2019.09.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Agenda item 8.2, readmission of students on expulsion. Ms. Osborne.
Thank you, Dr. Patel. Tonight we bring forward 4 readmissions of students on expulsion. All of these students have met the conditions of their contracts to be eligible for readmission.
Thank you. We'll start with case number 2017-2018.020. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that. On a motion by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe, second by Dr. Patel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Case number 2017-2018.26. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe, second by Mr. Zane. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Or any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Case number 2017-2018.36. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a motion by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe, second by Mr. Zane. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Case number 2017-2018.40.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe, second by Mr. Zane. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Agenda item 8.3, approval of resolution 31. Oh, pulled item. Huh? 8.3 was pulled, so we'll move on to 8.4. This is the low performing student block grant plan. Ms. Osborne.
Thank you. These funds have been made available through the Assembly Bill 1808, which directs funds to support students that are not included in the unduplicated pupil count, but may be in need of intervention in order to meet grade level standards. They're currently performing in bands 1 and 2 according to SBAC. Poway Unified has developed a plan to provide targeted professional learning for teachers to strengthen student performance and engagement in mathematics across all levels. The professional learning will be supported through job-embedded lesson study and followed up with the support of intervention TOSAs. We also feel that connecting with parents is a key component, so we'll continue our partnership with College Bound to strengthen the homeschool connection. Tonight we are seeking board approval for the plan so that we can confirm our acceptance of these funds from CDE and provide them with our plan by March 1st. Do you have any questions for me?
Are there any questions for Ms. Osborne?
Yes, if just a ballpark around what percentage of the funds, the 1.5, less than 1.5 million, are going towards the intervention TOSAs? Because I see that component, having that one-on-one tutoring, especially when our class sizes are fairly large, as being a really critical piece to it. And I'm curious how much of the pie is going towards that.
The majority of the funds are allocated to the TOSAs so that they are our key component. So the majority of the funds each year are going toward the TOSAs.
And we blocked out for 3 years, so our planning is to have that position for 3 years so that there's some consistency over time with working with those students.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second. Oh. Before the vote, I'm really pleased to see that you pulled this money out for a 3-year plan, because you never know. We might get it again in the future, but you never know. So I love that we're going to make this a little bit more consistent for these students. So thank you for planning ahead that way. I like the look of it.
Yeah, thank you very much. It is appreciated. On a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe. All those in favor? Aye. And Mr. Schwartz, you do get to cast a preferential vote on this one? Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 8.5. This is an information item. Fee increase for the Extended Student Services ESS Summer, Spring, and President's Break programs. Ms. Osborne.
Thank you, Dr. Patel. Extended Student Services provides students with many off-site experiences during these longer school breaks. Due to increases in fees for these experiences, as well as a 40% increase in transportation fees, Extended Student Services needs to cover these increased expenses. It's important to note that Extended Student Services has not had an increase in their rates since 2015. This is an information item only, but I can answer any questions.
Are there any questions?
Just a quick question. The green sheet indicates that there's no impact to the general fund, but it says it's also this is being proposed as a result of the rising costs. Does that mean we've been deficit spending in this area? In which case, there is an impact to general fund. It brings it to a net zero. Is that correct?
ESS is self-funded, and
okay.
so there's no impact on general fund because they are self-funded.
Excellent. Thank you.
If there are no other questions, we'll move on to item 11.0. Brings us to approval of revisions to board bylaws 9323. Dr. Phelps.
Thank you, Madam President. The staff is bringing forward the approval of the revisions to board bylaws 9323. This is the 5th time we're bringing this forward. We hope we've got it right this time. We made all the requested changes, took out the redundancies, and pretty much followed CSBA.
Do appreciate your thoroughness. Thank you very much. Is there any question? Are there any questions? Do I hear a motion?
Looks great. Motion to approve.
Second.
On a motion by Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe, second by Mr. Zane. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And a preferential vote for Mr. Schwartz? Aye. And no opposition, so motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. And that brings us to agenda item 11.2. Cast votes for candidates to the California School Board Association CSBA Delegate Assembly for Region 17. I'll actually take the lead on this one since I'm the delegate to the CSBA Region 17 Assembly. I do have a recommended list of candidates. I've met several of these individuals at our meetings that we have and thoroughly read the contents, and I feel like I have a pretty good slate that I'd like to recommend to the board. I'll list them out. Leslie Ray Bunker from Chula Vista, Stephen Cochran from Del Mar Union, Al Guerrera from Alpine, Andrew Hayes from Lakeside, Beth Hergesheimer from San Diego, Don Perfect from Ramona, and Barbara Ryan from Santee. Do I have a motion to approve those 7 selections?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
On a motion by Mr. Zane, second by Ms. O'Connor Ratcliffe. Can I hear a vote? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And we move on to agenda item 12, which is reports. 12.1, we'll start with board member reports. Start at the end. Mr. Schwartz?
Hello, Poway Unified School District. I apologize, I'm sick. So, it's been a fantastic month. I would like to begin by reporting out of the SSAC, or the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. In our past meeting, we discussed how to gain student feedback for the very important LCAP. We were joined by the amazing Ms. Osborne, who taught us all about the process of thought exchange. Over the past week, all SSAC members have been working very hard to get all students much-needed feedback. I personally believe the team has done a fantastic job receiving hundreds of responses per school. I can speak for the entire SSAC and the students of PowayUSD in saying that it felt great to have the opportunity to give honest, insightful comments on how to give better on how to better support and positively change our district, because we never have really gotten that opportunity previously. In other news, I also had the opportunity to join Ms. O'Connor Ratcliffe in the Adobe Bluffs Ability Awareness Day. Westview Best Buddies spoke to groups of students about the importance of friendship and acceptance, regardless of ability restrictions or special abilities. I cannot thank the Adobe Bluffs team for inviting us to such a fantastic event. It was absolutely amazing. As a senior, many things come to an end. I finished both my 4-year Westview ASB and peer counseling career. I will truly miss having the opportunity to help, support, and befriend peers across my campus, as well as move culture forward for all students. Finally, happy Valentine's Day. My girlfriend was thrilled that I had a board meeting today, but I told her that I had to support my second love, being the student board member for PowayUSD. I wish you all a very happy holiday and hope you spend it with those you love most, and have a fantastic February break.
Thank you very much. Mr. Zane?
Well, in the interest of domestic tranquility, I'm going to lead off with the happy Valentine's Day to my wife, who was actually somewhat grateful that I had a meeting tonight. So, and it's actually hard to believe that it's only been a month since our last meeting. There's been so much. As a matter of fact, some of us were discussing how this particular meeting, there was a lot of information to review, all of the reports, et cetera. And still managed to squeeze in a number of activities since the last board meeting, the first of which was the PowayUSD All-Choir Concert at Poway Center for Performing Arts, and saw Ms. Latang there as well, and Ms. O'Connor Ratcliffe. That was on January 19th. On January 22nd, I attended the Learning Walk at D39. These, again, with thanks to Ms. Osborne for inviting me to participate in that, and I was there with Dr. Patel. These professional learning sessions are a collaboration between PSS and LSS to support our school leaders with calibrating understanding of the PowayUSD continuum of teaching standards. And I cannot still explain to you entirely what the Hess Cognitive Rigor Matrix is, but I spent a lot of time working on it that day. Again, on January 22nd, attended the Constitutional Challenge at Mesa Verde Middle School with fellow trustees. That was a great event. The same day, was pleased to do an interview here with the editor of the Rancho Bernardo High School newspaper, The Silver Spur, and later in the evening attend the District Safety Committee meeting right here in the community room at the district office, the culmination of just some fantastic work on the part of that committee, and I hope that we continue that going at least every other month. Even though we've come to a conclusion in this aspect of their work, I think it ought to be ongoing. 2 days later was the PowayUSD Budget Workshop, a very productive morning, and look forward to some of the recommendations that came out of that workshop in the next presentation of our draft budget. The next day, I joined Ms. Couvrette and Mr. Little at the California Association of Suburban School Districts meeting in Sacramento. And then on January 28th, attended the monthly College Bound meeting. January 30th, it was a great opportunity arranged for a demonstration of a state-of-the-art surveillance technology offering 300 camera system, offering 360-degree views at Del Norte High School. Thank you to Mr. Moisel for your assistance with setting that up, and there's a potential for implementing that newfound technology in the future. On February 2nd, joined the Westview Robotics FRC team number 3341, option 16, as they hosted their 8th annual FFL Junior Expo at Westview High School. Great merger of Legos and robotics, and I'm a Lego maniac, so it was just great to see all that Legos too. On February 6th, attended the PTA 9th District's Founders Day breakfast event with other trustees and district staff at the Scottish Rite Center in Mission Valley. On February 7th, attended the Adobe Bluffs Lunar New Year celebration. Quite a festive event. Principal Park just does an outstanding job with that celebration. And then lastly, later on that same day in the evening, attended an LCAP meeting at Oak Valley Middle School with Dr. Patel. So it's actually been a very busy month on top of the prep for this meeting, but it's all been enjoyable, and love seeing the efforts of district staff and parents and volunteers doing what they love to do. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zane. Ms. Beatty?
I want to echo my colleague's sentiments with regard to, despite what appears to be a fairly short open session, that there was a voluminous amount of information. It's important information that comes down the pike on the agenda, and that's the single plans for student achievement and for each school site. And some of these are 80 plus pages long, and they're pretty much mini LCAPs. And it's really interesting because to see this sort of disaggregated data at the school site level, because normally with the LCAP presentations we're always getting this information at just the district-wide level. And so it's very interesting to see not only the statistics for different schools that were variable, and whether they were going up or down for various categories over the years, but also how the schools were addressing some of the issues on their own campuses. So that was neat. And then the other is, of course, my colleague mentioned the school safety plans. Luckily, they're not quite as long, maybe 10% of. And that's also interesting how the schools are dealing with, and safety is such a broad topic. It can encompass the locks on the doors, or just, the social emotional character kind of issues on campus, or digital citizenship. So this was all very, very good and worthwhile information to pour through. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Beatty. Ms. Couvrette?
Well, I want to thank all the schools, the parents, and the administrators putting those reports together, because they were very informative and lengthy. Unfortunately, the weather's been conducive to reading in my house with a cup of coffee, so I did get through them as well, but I really appreciate all the information. I had a full month as well. I'm really enjoying the role of getting the outreach as well as the academic side of this. I went to the all-choir concert and sat with Mr. Little, which was very enjoyable. I don't know if you guys know, but Poway High is in a CIF game starting at 7:30, so I've been doing a lot of water polo right now. So we've seen Westview beat Poway, we've seen Poway beat Mount Carmel, fantastic game with RB and Poway, so we have really some strong water polo girls out there, which is really awesome. The Mesa Verde Constitutional contest was amazing, and there is no way I do that lightning round. That lightning round was phenomenal. The budget workshop, thank you to staff. You guys put together such a fantastic educational time for us that I feel more confident in my role, and I really appreciate all the effort and time that you guys put into that. The next day, as we flew up to Sacramento, it's nice to be with other districts that are like us, because so many times there's districts with different needs. So it's wonderful that we can kind of keep an eye on similar legislative things that are coming across the desk, so that we know what's coming our way and how it'll impact our funding especially. I met with Kathleen Porter about the career and technical education, and they really have some exciting things coming forward and really want to partner with our organizations in our community. And on a side note, today I actually met with the Kiwanis, and they're really eager to jump on that and become community partners with the CTE programs. I did spend some time at Branch Bernardo High School with some teachers and faculties about their facility needs. I got to go down to the State of the County address to hobnob with some of the politicians and see what the state of the county is like and how it may affect us, because that's ultimately what I kind of care about right now. And then grad night is off and running. I'm on the Poway High Committee, but I know that Rancho Bernardo, Mount Carmel, we're all getting ready for grad night. So if you know of any volunteers out there that are really ready to build and disassemble, we need volunteers. So that was my month. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coubret. Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe?
Oh, sorry. I think 90% of what's on my list has been mentioned by somebody already, but my passion and my baby is that Ability Awareness Day that we do at Adobe Bluffs Elementary School. So thank you to Jake for bringing the Best Buddies Club from Westview. You guys were some of the favorite presenters that the kids all loved you guys. I hope you got some of the thank you notes too. They loved you guys. Anyway, the chant, they loved that part too. Anyway, it was wonderful to have them there and to have Mr. Mizell there. Stopped in and Lorelei and Dr. Patel. It was wonderful to share some of that. And we've had a lot of requests from other schools to, how do you do that? We'd like to do one at our school. So my team was putting that together, so we'll hopefully get that out to anybody who was interested coming up soon. That all PUSD choir show, absolutely incredible. The talent that our students have. And when all the choirs singing together from all of the high schools, this is a monumental feat for all of these classes. All of those teachers have to do that individually first, and then they all come together. Not to mention Rancho Bernardo's orchestra, who backed them all. This isn't recorded music that they're singing to. It was truly amazing. The Mesa Verde Constitutional Challenge, amazing in a very different way, but amazing nonetheless. I also attended the CAC Special Education meeting. This is a group of very interested parents who are working really hard to bring more information to parents whose children are receiving special education services. This is a caring group. They're always looking for additional volunteers. We also heard from Mark Exley that the Special Education Foundation would like some volunteers. I'm not positive he knows how to use those volunteers yet, but he needs them nonetheless. He's working on it. Our special budget workshop, I'll just echo what everyone said. It was really phenomenal. Thank you so much. It really helped, and I look forward to seeing, based on our input and what you told us, how we're going to do this. Hard choices, but I think you've presented some options that made sense to all of us. I visited Rancho Bernardo High School also, took a tour with Principal LeMaster and their foundation president and teacher there, Jeff Carpenter. That was really eye-opening. I was aware of facilities needs, but seeing it firsthand brings it to a whole nother level. So I want to thank them for touring me around and showing me. I was back there one day later for the What I Wish My Parents Knew presentation on the dangers of vaping, and it's not called vaping anymore. They want to call it something else, and now it's escaping me, so I'm going to call it vaping. But what was it? Juuling. That wasn't it either, though. Well, it was something I didn't know. There was a lot I didn't know. And the fact that my sixth grader knows what it is and has seen people doing it really floored me. So this was important for me to see, too. And I think a lot of parents there learned a lot of information and probably went home and searched their children's bedrooms. The Lunar New Year celebration at Adobe Bluffs was great. The partnerships that they have coming in from the community with San Diego State's Confucius Institute, with Three Treasures, it was really incredible. They really have quite the community partnership there to put on a celebration like that. But over and above all that, the students, every single classroom, did a presentation solely in Mandarin, singing, skits, a fan dance. I mean, they were incredible. This is what FLES will do, this foreign language in elementary school, 1 hour a week, and they can do this. It was amazing. Oh, the teachers all got up there and did their own, oh my gosh, they were awesome. And the parents did
They could
one.
thank us later
Yes.
for not recording and posting that part.
I did record it.
You have
Blackmail
leverage.
for a later date, yes. Ms. Latang mentioned, but I was able to attend My Fair Lady at Del Norte High School and Singing at the Rain at Poway High School with my theater posse that lives at my house. Both of them were absolutely incredible. Again, just the work that went into this. The Del Norte production of My Fair Lady actually had student producers and directors, which I found to be really amazing too, that the students are doing a lot of this work. They have a teacher overseeing everything, at least one actually, but the students getting to take those roles. Poway High had, it was hard to believe it was a student production, frankly. They were amazing, really, truly amazing. If you missed it, I'm so sorry. Don't miss them again. There's 3 more coming up with 3 more high schools. They'll all be great. FLL Junior Expo, I didn't have a little person with me that day like TJ did, but that was really incredible as well. So many teams there showing off what they learned and what they did. The PTA Founders Breakfast. Oh, I attended the Penasquitos Town Council's meeting. They have an education section in their agenda every month. So I was happy to step in and tell them, well, hey, something that you didn't talk about already. We're doing this thought exchange. Get online. Take part. You only have until Friday for all of you. Get in there. And if you don't have your own ideas off the top of your head, get in there anyway. You get to star everybody else's ideas that you like. And seeing theirs might give you some ideas about things that you can add. And I guess lastly, today at Adobe Bluffs, we had a meet and greet, and Jennifer was there too. I'm sorry, Dr. Burks was there too. They have a new partnership that they're doing with a Korean company, GoTouch. And Adobe Bluffs is going to pilot a bunch of these really interesting, I don't even know what to call it. It's sort of the equivalent of the Promethean boards is the closest I can come to it. But we're getting them for free. We're going to pilot it for this company, and I think this is going to be a great benefit to everybody. I was glad to see Dr. Burks there. She can tell them what they're doing wrong and how to fix it. Thanks, that's it.
Thank you very much. Well, and good evening, everyone. I've got the honor of closing out board reports, and as usual, the district has had a full schedule this month, and I had the fortunate opportunity to participate in several of those, as did some of my fellow board members. For activities at school sites this month, like Mr. Zane, I participated in the middle school level learning walk at D39, where we observed the examples of educational rigor and discussed how to balance equity with personalized learning. It was quite the learning experience. I'm sorry we had to cancel the elementary school one, which was supposed to be the next day. I'm sure it got rescheduled, and probably I was too busy otherwise to jump on board for that one. I'll get it the next time around. I also attended the Ability Awareness Day as well as the Lunar New Year celebration at Adobe Bluffs. I won't add any more details here since I think that was pretty well covered. At Oak Valley Middle School, I attended the LCAP Forum and was actually able to sit down and help some parents learn to navigate the Thought Exchange platform. And I will put in this plug again. Tomorrow is the last day to put in your ideas, star others, and see what issues are critical to your fellow community members. It's a great platform. I've been enjoying reading through several of the ones at my school sites. I did also attend the Constitutional Challenge at Mesa Verde Middle School. My daughter's class did not make it to the finals. She did make it to the semifinals. It is quite the event, and definitely I would not do lightning round. I agree with you. I was excited to be a judge at the Westview High School Junior FLL Robotics Expo this year. It was a new role for me. I've never been a judge in one of these competitions. The theme of the competition was Mission Moon Challenge, and the teams had to explore and invent strategies for creating a moon base station for human habitation. So these are our youngest FLL groups. This is kinder through third grade. And they were building models of moon base stations with hospitals and schools. They all put schools in there. Think about that. They're thinking about schools on the moon. It's pretty fascinating. They were great presenters. I also attended the My Fair Lady at Del Norte High School. The lead, Eliza Doolittle, I can't remember her name. She was phenomenal. She was not only speaking in a mix of Cockney and Queen's English, but she was also singing in those accents as well. It was really quite the show. And I had to remind my 2 daughters who play in the Mesa Verde Band several times, this is live music. This is not a recording. This is live music. We always go up to see the players in the pit. It's fun for them to see maybe what they might evolve into. As for district-wide and wider level events, there were plenty of those this month too. I joined many community members at the final safety committee meeting that was held here at the district office. At this meeting, we reviewed recommendations from the committee and were provided the report from Guideposts, which is essentially the top-level executive summary. And I'm looking forward to discussing how to prioritize and implement some of those recommendations. I'm really looking forward to that. Of course, those discussions are guided by the budget, and I'm very appreciative of staff's concerted effort during the budget workshop to answer all of our questions and to take time to set out our specific board priorities during that workshop and understand. It brought us a better understanding of our financial position as we consider all these safety changes and curriculum changes and things like that. I attended my first SWAC meeting this last month, and we heard a very detailed review of the current state of vaping and marijuana use. It might have even been the same speaker. I think he stayed for the next day to come to the SWAC meeting. I'm not sure, though, but it sounds like we had very similar context, maybe one of the people from there. And it really was a fascinating and eye-opening educational presentation. As the CSBA Region 17 delegate, I attended my first regional meeting. There was a set agenda and an opportunity to set upcoming speaker topics. I suggested speaker topics such as addressing social emotional wellness, how other schools and school districts are doing that, as well as best practices for implementing the SAI model. I think it'd be nice to see what other school districts are doing in these areas. We were also briefed on our upcoming Honoring Our Own celebration, news from the County Board of Education, as well as plans for Legislative Action Day in March, which Ms. O'Connor-Ratcliffe and I will be attending in Sacramento. Finally, I joined other board members at the 9th District Annual PTA meeting where new officers were installed, and one of our schools received grant money for a shade structure during the free will offering. I think it was it Pomerado? I can't remember which school it was, but I think it was $600 or something like that. It was a really neat breakfast. I'll conclude my report with a final push to get your ideas into Thought Exchange, and happy final hours of Valentine's Day. Thank you very much. Dr. Phelps.
Thank you, Madam President. We have some recognitions to note to present to the board this evening. I'd encourage you to please look at your board packet for the full description in 12.2. I encourage you to read them. In the interest of time, though, I'd like to highlight just a couple. The cybersecurity team from Del Norte, Oak Valley, Design 39 campus are the nation's top-ranked high school and middle school teams, qualifying them to compete in the national finals to be held in Baltimore, Maryland in April. We also had some top-notch middle school and high school student musicians who were selected by the California All-State Honors Ensemble and Choir. The list of names is in the agenda, and I'd like to say congratulations to all. This month, our Studio 701 student interns focused their Excellence in Education episode, focusing on one of our favorite programs, BizTown. They went along with Park Village Elementary School for the school's first ever visit. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Nepal Arslan with NBC7 San Diego. Actually, we're here at BizTown, a PUSD tradition. And this is actually our first time here alongside Park Village Elementary School. Alright, let's take a look. The looks on these 5th graders' faces says it all. BizTown is pretty impressive. Their teachers, equally impressed.
I think it's phenomenal. I think it's something that I wish all children could go through it. I wish I had gone through it myself. They're really understanding how an economy works. They're getting to feel, what it's like to earn money, to pay taxes, to be able to make choices about how they spend their money.
I make the most money as a CEO, and just going around and buying whatever you want is really fun.
We need to see your check. This is the check.
At each of the businesses inside BizTown, students act as employees. From CEOs to salespeople, mayor to police officers, all while issuing paychecks, enforcing laws, and keeping the town running.
It's different because you never think you're actually going to have to do this, but in reality you are, and it's just helpful.
Probably what it does is it grounds everything in reality. So I think kids, when they're younger, they say things like, I want to be an inventor. This actually gives them an opening to see what businesses do and probably find some connections to things they're interested in. So I think it's a very practical way to look at their future and know what adults do every day.
I would like the CEOs to raise your hand. Congratulations. You have a lot of responsibility.
Before the students ever arrive at BizTown, they apply for jobs at the 21 different businesses, filling out resumes and learning interviewing skills. They spend weeks in class studying the Junior Achievement curriculum on business and marketing to prepare for the big day.
When you go into a real workplace situation, you have to learn how to communicate. You have to learn how to cooperate with your colleagues. You're typically a part of a team, and so as they move on forward into their adult life, this gives them just kind of a little window into that.
Park Village Elementary Principal Mike Mossgrove was among the first group of PUSD educators to bring the McGrath Family JA BizTown experience to the district. BizTown is run by Junior Achievement, a national nonprofit that focuses on financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship.
By coming here to the McGrath Family JA BizTown, it aligns with the Poway curriculum and the Poway mission of getting these kids real world ready. It's important to inspire and prepare this next generation of San Diego leaders.
For the Excellence in Education series, I'm Nepal Arslan, Studio 701.
Thank you. This month, we also celebrate Black History Month. Many of our schools are holding unique events and teaching lessons in our classrooms to share greater understanding of the significance of African American achievements in U.S. history. In addition, our district's social media and websites have been sharing educational videos and images to highlight and celebrate African Americans. I was privileged to celebrate Lunar New Year at Adobe Bluffs Elementary School, where all of the student performances were done in Mandarin. We had several city and county dignitaries in attendance, including Councilman Mark Kersey, who declared February 7th as Adobe Bluffs Elementary Mandarin Immersion Day in the city of San Diego. Last week was also National School Counselors Week, and every day our counselors provide our students with academic, college and career, social and emotional support and development. They play a critical role in the success of our schools and our students' success. So please take some time to thank our school counselors for their hard work. Over the past 2 weeks, our community has been providing feedback for our local control accountability plan through Thought Exchange. We are thrilled that over 8,000 parents, students, employees, and community members have participated. We had over 900 people participate within the first 24 hours that Thought Exchange was launched. This is the highest level of engagement for LCAP that we have ever seen. I want to thank Associate Superintendent Osborne and her team, Director Peck, for successfully leading the rollout of this brand new tool. After the survey period closes tomorrow, we will be compiling the top thoughts for each school as well as the district as a whole to share with everyone. This input will help us to decide our funding priorities as we move forward. Lastly, I want to bring to note in recognition, this week we found out some wonderful news, and I'd like to ask you to help me in congratulating some of our fellow Team PUSD colleagues who were selected by the Association of California School Administrators, and they were selected as Administrators of the Year for Region 18, San Diego and Imperial counties. They represent the best of nearly 1,400 educational leaders in our region. PUSD had the most awardees of any other school district in the county. So congratulations to Mr. Greg Magno, who was awarded Principal at Mount Carmel High School, was awarded Secondary Principal of the Year. Next, I would like to congratulate Colin Young, Poway High School Secondary Co-Administrator of the Year. Kimberly Renz, who was awarded Curriculum Instruction Administrator of the Year. Our very own Mr. Tim Purvis was awarded Classified Leader of the Year. And our partner, Northrop Grumman, was awarded Partner in Education Excellence Award. Next, our latest news that we just received was that Poway Unified School District was just selected as the San Diego County's California Exemplary District Awardee for 2019. This award celebrates the achievements of our district, and we will represent the county at a statewide celebration in April. So we're very excited. I'd like to thank our entire staff and the board for all of your support. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to make these get these achievements and this recognition. So thank you so much. I'd like to say please enjoy your break next week. Next week we all have a week off, or our students do, I think. And most of us, I'm hoping, will take that time off. And I'd like to say happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Thank you.
And with that, I adjourn the meeting at 7:46. 7:46.